The stars burned cold and silent around the broken ships of the Krelith Vanguard fleet. War Prime Zethkar floated inside his escape pod, his body heavy with pain and blood, his scales cracked open in many places, one arm gone below the elbow, venom glands torn and leaking slow poison into his veins. He had been the commander of the 3rd Assault Wave. Now he was only a survivor, one of very few left. The battle for Vara 9 had lasted months longer than anyone thought possible. The humans should have fallen in days. Instead they fought on and on, until the Krelith fleet turned into drifting scrap. A human salvage frigate found the pod among the wreckage. Its engines hummed low as grapples pulled the small craft inside. The airlock hissed open, and rough hands dragged Zethkar out. He tried to fight, but his strength had left him long ago. Medics in white suits moved fast. They cut away ruined armor and pressed strange machines against his wounds, machines that beeped and glowed, and somehow stopped the bleeding. Even though they were made for human flesh, not Krelith scales. He felt drugs enter his blood, warm and dulling the fire inside him. Then darkness took him again. When he woke, he lay on a wide bed inside a bright room. The walls were smooth metal, painted soft gray. Lights shone from above without harsh glare. Restraints held his remaining wrists and ankles, not tight enough to cut, but strong enough to hold. He turned his head and saw a human woman standing near the door. She wore a simple uniform, dark blue with small silver marks on the shoulders. Her hair was short and black, her face calm without anger or fear. She looked at him the way one looks at a wounded animal, not with hate, but with careful interest. "My name is Captain Alara Voss," she said, her voice quiet and clear. "I command this ship, the hospital frigate Mercy. You are safe here, for now." Zethkar hissed low in his throat, a sound that once made lesser species tremble. Now it sounded weak, even to him. To sit up, the restraints stopped him. He glared at the human woman. "You think this makes me grateful?" he said, his words rough from damaged throat plates. "You think I will thank you for chains?" Voss did not flinch. She stepped closer and placed a small cup of water on the table beside the bed. The cup was clear and simple. Steam rose from it. "Drink if you want," she said, "or do not. It is your choice. I will not force you." Zethkar stared at the cup, then at her. He expected tricks, poison, mockery. Instead, she waited, patient as stone. He felt thirst burn inside him, worse than the wounds. Finally he moved his head and drank the water. Tasted clean. No strange flavors, no drugs he could sense. He set the cup down empty. "Why do you keep me alive?" he asked. "Better to kill me quick than play this game." Voss pulled a chair close and sat. She folded her hands in her lap. "We do not kill prisoners," she said. "Not unless they force us to. You are the highest-ranking Krelith officer. Have found alive. The war is over. Your fleet is gone. Your empire has asked for terms. We want to understand what happened. We want your words, not just data logs or battle records." Zethkar laughed, a short, harsh sound that ended in pain. He felt ribs grind inside his chest. "Understand," he said. "You want to understand why you won, why we lost. You think words will explain it?" "Maybe," Voss said, "or maybe not, but we ask anyway. What did you expect when you came to Vara 9? Zethkar closed his eyes for a moment. Memories came fast and sharp. The planning chambers on the homeworld, maps of human space marked in red, the confident voices of the High Command. The humans are new, he remembered one elder saying, soft-bellied prey from a single wet world. They will break under real pressure. Swarm them, board them, cut their throats, and watch them run. "We expected victory," he said. "We expected your ships to scatter, your soldiers to beg. We expected glory in 3 cycles. Most." "And what did you find instead?" Voss asked. Zethkar opened his eyes and looked at her directly. He saw no smile, no gloating, only steady attention. "We found humans who did not run," he said. "We found ships that burned and kept firing. We found soldiers who fought with broken bodies. We found no fear, only endless stubborn will. Voss nodded once, as if she had heard similar words before. "Tell me more," she said. "Start from the beginning, from the first contact when your fleet arrived." Zethkar felt the old pride stir inside him, weak now, but still there. He remembered the sight of the armada moving forward. Thousands of sleek black ships, engines bright against the dark. His flagship, the Iron Fang at the center, banners of the Empire flying proud. The humans had met them with fewer ships, smaller and slower, their hulls patched and worn from older fights. "We came in formation," he began, "standard envelopment pattern. Our plasma lances opened first. We expected their shields to fail in moments. Instead, they held longer than they should have. Then their guns answered, not elegant, not precise, but heavy and constant. Every hit we took, they answered with two more. Our cruisers started to lose armor. Our fighters died fast." He paused, breathing hard. The memory brought fresh pain. "We sent boarding teams," he continued. "Small elite units, trained to take ships from inside. We expected easy kills. Humans are small, their corridors narrow, their weapons light. We thought they would die screaming." "They did not scream," Voss said. "No," Zethkar said. "They laughed, some of them. They fought in the dark, when lights failed. They fought in vacuum, when air was gone. One of my lieutenants reported a human marine with no legs, pulling himself forward with his arms to plant a charge on our reactor. He succeeded. The blast took half our lower decks." Voss listened without interruption, her face still calm. "We thought it was madness at first," Zethkar said. "We laughed too. Called them death-seekers, fools who threw lives away for nothing. Then we saw the pattern. Every time we pushed, they pushed back harder. Every time we broke a line, they formed two more. Every ship we crippled kept shooting until nothing moved inside it." He stopped and looked at the ceiling lights, bright and steady. "That was only the first day," he said, "the first day of many." Voss leaned forward slightly. "And you, War Prime?" she asked. "Did you ever think of turning back?" Zethkar met her eyes again, his own eyes narrow slits of yellow. "Retreat is not in our nature," he said. "We are Krelith. We conquer or we die. There is no other path." Voss gave a small nod. "Yet here you are," she said, "alive and talking instead of dead and silent." Zethkar felt anger rise and fade into something colder, something empty. "Yes," he said, "here I am, the last war prime of a lost fleet, kept alive by enemies who should have killed me." Voss stood up. She moved to the door, paused before leaving. "Rest now," she said. "We will speak again when you are stronger. Food will come, water too. No tricks, no games, just time." The door slid shut behind her, leaving Zethkar alone with the hum of machines and the weight of his own thoughts. He stared at the restraints on his wrist, simple metal bands that held a creature once feared across systems. Now he felt small, broken, small in a way he had never felt before. Outside the room, Captain Voss walked down the corridor. Medics nodded as she passed. She stopped at a viewport and looked out at the drifting wreckage that had once been the mightiest fleet in known space. Twisted metal floated, slow, turning in the light of distant stars. Somewhere out there, other survivors waited, some in pods, some hiding in hulks, all of them carrying the same stunned silence. She touched the glass with one finger. Cold spread through her skin. "They came to break us," she whispered to the empty corridor, "and we did not break." Turned away and kept walking the ship around her alive with quiet purpose. Doctors worked. Engineers repaired. Soldiers rested. Weapons cleaned. Decks scrubbed. Everything moving forward, steady and sure. The war was over, but the story of it was only beginning. And the Krelith survivor in the medical bay held the first true piece of that story, locked inside his proud and wounded heart. Days passed on the Mercy. The ship moved slow through the quiet aftermath of battle. Zethkar stayed in the medical bay, his body healing bit by bit. New scales grew over old wounds. The stump of his arm ached less with each sunrise. The humans fed him meat broth rich with strange spices and gave him clean water every few hours. No one shouted, no one struck him. The quiet made him uneasy more than any torture could. Captain Alara Voss came back often. She sat in the same chair, asked the same calm questions, and listened without rush. Zethkar spoke little at first, then more as boredom and pain loosened his tongue. One afternoon the lights dimmed for ship rest cycle. Voss arrived with a small tablet glowing soft blue. She set it on the table between them. "Show me the first real fight," she said. "The one that changed your mind about us." Zethkar looked at the tablet, then at her yellow eyes narrow. He reached with his good hand and touched the screen. Data flowed up. Battle logs from the zone. Ship, simple lines of text in Krelith script, mixed with human translations. He scrolled slow, memories rising sharp and bright. "It began at the edge of Vara 9, he said. "Our scouts found your outpost, small station, barely worth a full salvo. We sent one cruiser, the Blade of Dawn. Standard approach, plasma lances charged, boarding pods ready. We thought one pass would end it." Voss nodded. "Keep going." "The outpost fired back," he continued. "Not heavy guns, just old rail launchers, cheap solid slugs, no fancy energy weapons. Our shields laughed at them. Then your people did something strange. They launched escape pods, not to run, but straight at us. Small pods packed tight. We thought suicide runs, foolish waste." "They were not suicide," Voss said. "No," Zethkar hissed. "They carried marines in heavy suits, magnetic boots and cutting torches. The pods hit our hull like insects on glass. Then they cut in fast. We sealed sections, but they moved through vents, through service tunnels, through anything. Open one squad, reached the bridge deck, before we stopped them." He paused, breathing deep. The air tasted of metal and medicine. "I watched on internal feeds," he said. "A human female, no bigger than a young Krelith. She lost her helmet in the fight. Face exposed, blood on her cheeks. She kept moving forward, plasma burns on her arms. She threw a grenade that cracked our command console. Then she stood there laughing as we shot her down, laughing until the end." Voss' face stayed calm, but her fingers tightened once on the arm of the chair. "We called it madness then," Zethkar said. "We mocked their death. We said they feared pain so much they welcomed it, quick to end the terror. We did not understand. It was not fear driving them." "What was it?" Voss asked quiet. "Anger," he said. "Pure, steady anger. The kind that does not burn out fast. It simmers. It waits. It grows. We took their station. We killed most of the crew. We thought that would break the rest. Instead, it woke something. Moved inward after that." Zethkar continued. "Our fleet pushed toward your inner colonies. We expected panic. We expected surrender. Messages begging for terms. None came. Your ships met us at every jump point. Not in neat lines, but scattered. Hidden in asteroid belts, behind gas giants, in the shadow of dead moons. They struck, then vanished. Struck again, then vanished." He tapped the tablet again, pulling up a map of the early campaign. Red Krelith arrows, blue human marks. The blue marks twisted and looped like living things. "Your admirals did not fight fair," he said. "No grand duels, no honorable formations. They used every trick. Dirt-cheap decoys, fake signals, mines hidden in wreckage. They turned our own debris against us." Voss leaned forward. "Tell me about the boarding at Karos Prime." Zethkar felt a chill memory hit hard. Karos Prime was a supply hub, fat with fuel and parts. His flagship led the attack. They boarded a human carrier, the Dawn Runner, thinking it easy prey. Half-dead engines, cold guns, silent. "We poured in," he said. 200 elite warriors, blades sharp, venom ready. The corridors were empty at first. Then lights failed, air thinned, gravity shifted, wild. We heard laughter from the dark, not screams, laughter. He closed his eyes, seeing it again. Humans waited in ambush. Small teams behind bulkheads, inside passages. They used flash charges that blinded our night vision. They used sonic grenades that rattled our inner ears. They fought close with knives and fists. When guns ran dry, one of my captains lost his head, to a human woman who jumped from a ceiling vent. She wrapped legs around his neck and twisted until bones snapped. Voss listened, silent. "We took the ship in the end," Zethkar said, "but we paid heavy. Only 40 of us walked out. The rest died in those tight halls. We found traps everywhere. Pressure doors rigged to crush, explosive panels, fake wounded humans who detonated when we tried to help. We learned fast not to trust." And after the battle, he added, "We found their dead not stiff with fear, but calm. Some smiled even in death, as if they knew something we did not." Voss spoke then, her voice low. "What did you feel when you saw that?" Zethkar looked away, shame, pride, confusion mixed inside him. "I felt small," he admitted. "For the first time in my life, I felt small. We are taught to see other species as prey, weak, soft, quick to break. Humans did not break. They bent, they twisted, they came back harder every time we hit them." He turned back to her, eyes fierce again. "We started to fear the wounded ones," he said. "A human with one arm gone would still shoot with the other. A human with legs crushed would crawl forward dragging grenades. A human burned black would whisper orders through cracked lips. We could not understand why they did not give up, why pain did not stop them." Voss gave a small smile, the first real one he had seen from her. "Because giving up never occurred to them," she said. "It is not in the way we think. We learn early that the fight continues even when the body fails. We carry it inside, long after the outside breaks." Zethkar stared at her, trying to see weakness and finding none. "You speak as if it is normal," he said, "as if endless suffering is just another day." "It is not normal," Voss answered, "but it is familiar. We have stories of winters that lasted years, of plagues that took half our people, of wars where cities turned to dust. We remember them not to cry, but to remind ourselves we survived before. We can survive again." Zethkar felt something shift inside him. Not defeat, not yet, but a crack in the old certainty he had always known. Krelith were apex warriors, born to conquer, born to end fights quick and clean. Humans did not end fights. They wore them like skin. They lived inside war until war itself grew tired. "Tell me about the second month," he said, "the one where numbers started to matter less." Voss stood up and walked to the wall. Viewport, she looked out at stars, slow and steady. "That was when we stopped counting ships," she said, "and started counting days. Your fleet was still bigger, stronger, faster on paper. But we learned your patterns. We watched how you moved, how you thought. We built new weapons, new tactics, new plans. Overnight, factories on our worlds ran without sleep, churning out fighters, drones, missiles. We turned every loss into lessons." Zethkar joined her at the viewport, his restraints long enough to reach. He looked at the same stars, feeling the weight of lost comrades. "We saw your factories burning," he said. "We bombed them. We thought that would stop you." "It slowed us," Voss said, "but it did not stop us. Every wrecked plant meant workers moved to the next one. Every dead engineer meant another stepped up. We did not fight for land or glory. We fought because the alternative was worse." Zethkar turned to her, surprise clear in his face. "You feared extinction." "Yes," she said, "simple and plain. We feared losing everything. Our homes, our children, our stories. So we fought like nothing else mattered, because nothing else did." Silence filled the room. Only the soft hum of the ship broke it. Zethkar felt the truth settle heavy inside him. The Krelith came for conquest, quick and bright. Humans came for survival, slow and deep. The difference was not in guns or ships. It was in what each side carried in their bones. Voss looked at him again. No anger, no pity, just truth. "That was only the beginning," she said. "The real terror came later, when we realized you would never stop coming unless we made you stop." Zethkar nodded. Slow, the pride that once burned bright now flickered low. "Then keep asking," he said. Because I have more to tell, and you have more to hear. Voss returned to her chair, sat down and waited. The tablet glowed between them, ready for the next piece of the story. The Mercy sailed on steady through the dark, carrying 2 survivors, one broken in body, one unbroken in will, both beginning to see the same terrible truth about humans in war. The months dragged on in the war. The Krellith thought it would end quick. Instead, it turned into a slow, heavy grind. Zethkar lay in the medical bay on the Mercy, his body stronger now, the stump of his arm fitted with a simple prosthetic. The humans gave him no fancy tech, just metal and straps that worked well enough. He could grip things again, hold a cup, lift food to his mouth. The quiet routine of healing made the memories sharper every day. Captain Alara Voss visited more often now. She brought no tablet this time, just sat and listened. Her calm face never changed much. Zethkar found himself talking without much push. The words came easier, as if speaking them out loud took some of the weight off his chest. "Tell me about the middle phase," she said, "when you still had numbers on your side, but things started to slip." Zethkar stared at the ceiling lights, soft white glow. He remembered the command deck of the Iron Fang. Alarms quiet at first, then louder, as reports came in from everywhere. "Front. We still outnumbered you 5-1, he said. "Our fleets held strong supply lines, long but steady. We pushed deeper into your space, took colony after colony, burned orbital yards, glassed mining outposts. We thought each loss would break your spirit, make your people turn on their leaders, beg for peace. It did not happen," Voss said. "No," he answered. "Your people got quieter, not louder. No riots, no panic. Just more factories opening, more ships launching, more soldiers stepping forward. We bombed your worlds, and you rebuilt faster than we could destroy." He shifted on the bed. The sheets rustled soft. "One battle stands out," he continued. "The ambush in the Epsilon debris field. We chased what we thought was a broken human fleet into a wide cloud of wreckage from earlier fights. Twisted hulls, dead satellites, frozen fuel tanks. We moved in tight formation, ready to finish them." Voss leaned forward a little. "Go on." "Your ships vanished into the mess," he said, then came back. "From angles we did not expect. They used the junk as cover, fired from behind cover, used short jumps to appear and disappear. Our sensors screamed with false signals, decoys everywhere, mines hidden in old engine pods, explosive charges rigged to look like scrap. We lost 3 cruisers before we even saw a real target." He hissed low, remembering the chaos on his bridge, lights flashing red, voices shouting orders that made no sense. "We adapted," he said. "We spread out, sent fighters to sweep, cleared paths, burned sections of the field with plasma. But every time we cleared one spot, you filled it with more traps. Your people turned garbage into weapons, turned our own dead ships against us. It felt like the void itself hated us." Voss nodded once. "That was one of our early lessons we learned from you. We watched how you fought. Clean lines, big formations, predictable moves. So we did the opposite. We made war messy, unpredictable, dirty." Zethkar looked at her, surprise clear in his yellow eyes. "You studied us," he said. "Not just our ships, our minds." "Every day," she answered. "We recorded every battle, every transmission, every captured warrior. We learned your pride, your honor, your need for quick wins. We used it against you." He felt a cold twist in his gut. The Krellith always saw other species as simple prey, easy to read, easy to break. Humans read them back, deeper than they read themselves. "The real terror started with the prisoners," he said. "We captured thousands. At first we treated them like any other foe, locked them, fed them, waited for cracks to show. Instead, they talked among themselves, planned small escapes, shared food, sang songs in their cells. We thought it weakness, softness. Then one group overpowered guards, took a shuttle and flew it straight into our supply convoy. The blast took out fuel for half a fleet." Voss' face stayed calm, but her eyes sharpened. "We did not teach them to do that," she said. They chose it themselves. Yes, Zethkar growled. They chose death over chains. Every time we showed mercy, they used it as a weapon. We stopped taking prisoners after that. We killed on sight, but even that backfired. Your people fought harder when they knew surrender meant nothing. He paused, breathing slow, the memories heavy. Worse was the broadcasts, he continued. We caught your signals aimed at our worlds. Not threats, not propaganda, just facts. Simple cold facts. Pictures of our ships burning, our warriors captured, our leaders signing terms. We thought it would anger our people, make them fight fiercer. Instead it spread doubt, whispers, questions. Why are we losing to these small, soft creatures? Voss spoke quiet. We did not want hate, we wanted truth. Your empire hid losses, wrapped them in glory. We showed the bodies, the wrecks, the empty thrones. Zethkar clenched his good fist, the prosthetic creaked. It worked, he admitted. Our young started to ask why fight a war that never ends. Our elders had no answers, only old songs of past. Victories, past glories. The songs felt empty against the reality of endless human ships. The grind wore us down, he went on. Your factories never slept. Ours needed rest, repairs, supply runs. Delays grew longer every cycle. Your drones filled the gaps, machines that learned fast, adjusted mid-fight. We had doctrine rigid, perfect on paper. You had chaos that somehow won. Tell me about the fall of Tarkon, he said, the supply world that broke our back line. Voss gave a small nod. Tarkon was key. Fuel, food, parts, everything flowed through there. We hit it hard, not with one big fleet, but with waves, small fast groups that slipped past your patrols, struck, reloaded, slipped away again. Your defenders chased ghosts, while we bled the system dry. Zethkar remembered the reports coming in fast and bad, one after another. Convoys lost yards, bombed storage domes cracked open, atmosphere leaking into space. The garrison fought brave, held for weeks, then months, but supplies ran out. Morale cracked. Sent reinforcements, he said. The best we had. Elite fleets, fresh from the core worlds. They arrived to find human forces already dug in, using your own orbital forts against you, turning defenses into kill zones. We lost half the relief force just trying to land. He looked at Voss direct now. You did not conquer Tarkon, he said. You starved it. You waited, patient as stone, until we had nothing left to give. Patience is our strength, she answered. We know how to suffer long. We know how to wait out storms. Zethkar felt the truth settle deeper. The Krelith fought like lightning, fast, bright, dawn in a flash. Humans fought like stone, slow, heavy, impossible to move once set. Another thing haunted him. You're wounded. They refused to leave the line. Medics dragged them back. They crawled back to fight. One human I saw on a boarding feed, leg gone below the knee, bones sticking out white. He tied it off with his own belt, picked up a rifle, kept shooting until his heart stopped. Him later, still gripping the trigger finger locked tight. Voss looked away for the first time. A shadow crossed her face. We hate losing people, she said. Every death hurts, every wound scars us. But we do not stop, because stopping means all the pain was for nothing. Zethkar understood then, not fully, but enough. The humans did not seek death. They sought to make sure the next generation never faced the same fight. They carried the dead inside them, kept fighting for ghosts. The war became industrial, he continued. Your worlds turned every resource into tools of war. Mines ran day and night. Farms grew soldiers, not food. Schools taught tactics, not history. We saw the change in prisoners, young ones, barely adult, talking about production quotas, kill ratios, rebuild schedules. They spoke like machines, yet their eyes burned with something alive, something fierce. Voss stood up, walked to the small window, looked out at the black between stars. Said, not because we were stronger, but because we could keep going when everything said stop. Zethkar joined her, standing slow. The prosthetic helped his balance. He looked at the same dark. We started to break not from bullets or bombs, but from time, he said. Time that never ended. Time that ate our pride, our certainty, our will. Every victory we claimed felt small. Every loss you took felt like fuel for the next push. Silence filled the room again. Only the ship hum, soft, constant. Voss turned to him, her voice low. The terrifying part was not your weapons or your numbers, she said. It was realizing you would fight forever if we let you. We had to make sure you never wanted to fight us again. Zethkar met her gaze. No anger left, only tired understanding. Then ask more, he said. The end is coming, and the truth gets heavier with every word. Voss sat again, ready to listen. The Mercy kept sailing steady, carrying the weight of two species stories, one ending, one just. Beginning the grind of war had revealed something neither side expected. Humans did not just survive. They thrived in the long dark of endless fight. The final stand came at the outer line of the Krellith home system worlds, called the Iron Veil. Massive orbital forts linked by energy webs, heavy guns pointed outward, ready to shred any fleet that dared approach. Zethkar stood on the bridge of what remained of his flagship, the Iron Fang, now scarred and leaking air from a dozen hull breaches. The command crew looked thin, faces drawn, eyes hollow from months without real rest. Alarms rang constant, low, urgent warnings of incoming human forces. Outside the viewport, the enemy arrived not in one glorious wave, but in steady, patient groups. Human ships slipped through the dark, using every shadow, every blind spot they had mapped the veil. Long ago studied its weak points, turned knowledge into death. The Krellith fired first, plasma lances bright and hot, cutting through space. Many human vessels burned bright, then vanished in silent explosions. Others twisted away, damaged, but still moving, still shooting back. Zethkar gave the order. Counter-boarding. He knew the end neared, but pride demanded one last fight. His remaining warriors gathered in launch bays, armored, heavy blades drawn, venom sacks full. They boarded small assault craft aimed at the nearest human dreadnought, the Titanheart. A huge, ugly ship, patched from 100 battles, its guns never stopped roaring. The boarding pods slammed into the Titanheart hulls, tore open, air hissed out, warriors poured in, corridors wide enough for Krellith to charge 3 abreast. They expected fear, panic. Instead they met fire teams of humans in tight groups, using cover, moving smart, falling back only to hit from new angles. Zethkar led the push, himself, blade in good hand, prosthetic gripping a plasma pistol. He cut down 3 humans in the first haul. Their blood sprayed warm across his scales. Deeper inside the ship, the fight turned strange. Gravity fluctuated, lights flickered on purpose, corridors filled with smoke that burned eyes and lungs. Humans used every trick, flashbangs, sonic pulses, gas that made Krellith cough blood. Zethkar lost warriors fast, good fighters cut apart by small teams that refused to break. One human squad held a junction with nothing but rifles and grenades. When ammo ran dry, they charged with knives, screaming wordless rage. Zethkar pushed forward to the engine deck, the heart of the ship. There he saw something that stopped him cold. A human marine sat against a bulkhead, legs gone from the knee down. Blood pooled wide around him. The man held a detonator in one hand, thumb on the trigger. He looked up at Zethkar, no fear, only calm. Tired smile. He laughed, soft hoarse sound, then pressed the button. The blast came fast, nuclear charge, small but clean. It ripped through decks, took Zethkar and half his assault company in white fire. Pain hit like thunder, then nothing for a long moment. When sight returned, he lay in twisted wreckage, body broken worse than before. Scales charred black, one eye blind, the prosthetic arm gone again. Warriors around him, dead or dying. The corridor a tomb of metal and flesh. Humans found him, dragged him out. No rough hands this time. Careful, almost gentle. They carried him to a medical bay on the Titan Heart. Patched wounds, stopped bleeding, gave him drugs that dulled the fire inside. Medics worked fast, efficient. No hate in their eyes, just duty. Zethkar lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the shit shudder as engines pushed on toward the Krelith core worlds. Back on the Iron Fang, the last reports came in, broken voices over failing comms. The veil breached orbital forts, silent homeworld shields failing, remnants scattered, running or dying. The High Command sent the final order. Unconditional surrender. No more fighting. No more glory. Just stop. Zethkar heard it from a human speaker. Calm voice, reading the words in clear Krelith. No triumph, only fact. He lay in silence for hours. Days, maybe. Time lost meaning. Medics came and went. Captain Ilara Voss arrived. One shift. She stood at the foot of his bed, faced the same calm mask she always wore. You lived, she said. Simple, plain. Zethkar turned his head, one eye fixed on her, the other covered in bandage. Barely he rasped, Why keep me breathing? Because the war ends with truth, not bodies, she answered. The tribunal wants your voice. The galaxy wants to know why it happened this way. He laughed. Weak sound that turned to cough. Blood flecked his lips. Truth, he said. Truth is we came to kill, and you would not die. Voss pulled the chair close, sat without rush. Tell me the last part, she said, the moment it broke for you. Zethkar closed his good eye. Memories flooded back, clear, sharp. The bridge of the Iron Fang. Final hours, alarms screaming, red lights everywhere. The Admiral stood tall, gave the surrender order, voice steady, no tremble. Warriors looked at each other, confusion, then anger, then nothing. Some dropped weapons, some stared at walls. One young officer drew his blade, turned it on himself. Quick, clean end. Others followed. Not many, but enough to show the crack. We expected to die fighting, he said. Glorious last stand songs would sing of it. Instead the order came to stand down, lower weapons, open channels. We obeyed, because nothing else made sense anymore. He opened his eye, looked at Voss direct. Your people did not cheer when we surrendered, he continued. No parades, no victory cries. Your ships held position, watched us leave, took our wounded, fed them, treated them, sent them home with nothing but shame. We expected hate, revenge. Instead we got silence. Cold, heavy silence that hurt worse than blades. Voss nodded slow. We did not want your hate, she said. Hate breeds more war. We wanted your understanding. We wanted you to see what happens when you push a species that refuses to break. Zethkar felt the weight settle, final, heavy. I saw it, he said, on your dreadnought, in those corridors. Your wounded chose death over capture, chose to take us with them, not from fear, certainty that the fight must end one way or another. They laughed, because they knew the cost, and paid it willing. He paused, breathing shallow. That was the breaking point, he continued. Not the bombs, not the lost ships, but the knowledge that humans treat war like breathing, something necessary, something they endure until it stops. We fight for glory, quick, bright. You fight for tomorrow, for the day after, for the children who never see a battlefield. We could not match that endurance. We burned out. You kept burning steady. Voss stood up, walked to the small window, looked out at the stars. Now peaceful, no fleets, no fire, just quiet dark. The tribunal waits, she said. They record everything. Your words will go out to every world, every species. They will hear what a Krelith survivor saw in humans at war. Zethkar tried to sit up. Pain stopped him. He lay back weak, but voice firm. Then take me there, he said. Let me speak. Let the galaxy hear the truth before it forgets. Voss turned back to him, gave a small nod. Soon, she said. Rest now. The ship moves toward neutral ground. The hearing begins in days. She left, quiet steps fading down the corridor. Zethkar lay alone, with machines humming soft, his body broken, his pride gone, His mind clear for the first time in years, he thought of the homeworld. Now quiet, no more war drums, no more songs of conquest, just survivors, picking up pieces, wondering how it ended so fast. He knew the answer now. Humans did not win with better guns or bigger fleets. They won with time, with pain, with the simple, stubborn choice to stand up one more time. When every part said lie down, they turned suffering into strength, turned loss into fuel, turned every wound into reason to fight harder. The Iron Fang drifted far behind, now a ghost ship, empty hulls, silent guns. The Titan Heart carried forward, steady engines, low thrum, carrying the last war prime toward a room where words would do what weapons could not. Story, close the chapter. Leave the galaxy changed forever. Zethkar closed his eye, one last thought before sleep took him. Humans do not seek war, but when war finds them, it finds something older than pride, older than glory, something carved deep in bone, something that outlasts stars. The Mercy arrived at the neutral station called Harmony Spire, a huge ring of white metal floating in empty space, far from any war zone. Diplomats from dozens of species waited inside the great chamber. Tall ceilings, glowing soft lights, seats arranged in wide circles. The air smelled clean, with faint scent of alien flowers. Zethkar was brought in on a simple hover chair, his body weak but mind sharp, bandages covering much of his scales, one eye still blind, the other bright yellow and focused. Humans walked beside him, Captain Alara Voss on his left, a guard on his right. No chains, no weapons, just quiet escort. The chamber filled slowly. Representatives sat in their places, tall insectoids with clicking mandibles, feathered avians with sharp beaks, scaled traders from distant systems. All watched, silent, as Zethkar moved to the center. A low platform rose under his chair. A single light shone down, warm, not harsh. A recorder drone hovered nearby, small and silver, ready to capture every word for the archives. Galaxy Archives. An elder from the Neutral Council, a tall, thin being with pale skin and calm voice, spoke first. War Prime Zethkar, you stand before this tribunal as survivor and witness. The war between Krelith Empire and human concord has ended by your surrender. We seek truth, not blame. Speak freely. The record will carry your words unchanged. Zethkar looked around the chamber, saw faces curious, some fearful, some blank. He drew breath deep, as his damaged lungs allowed, then began. I come not to beg or excuse, he said, voice rough but steady. I come to tell what I saw, what broke us, what made victory impossible for my people. He paused, let the words settle, then continued. We Krelith are warriors born. We train from hatchling days to fight quick, decisive, honorable battles. We seek the clean kill, the glorious end, songs sung of our deeds for generations. We thought all species fought the same way. Strike hard, win fast, claim the spoils, move on, that way. Murmurs rose soft from the seats. Zethkar ignored them, kept speaking. From the first clash we saw difference. Your ships took hits that should have ended them, yet kept firing. Your soldiers bled out, yet crawled forward. Your captains ordered retreats, only to turn and strike again. We laughed at first, called it madness, animal instinct without thought. Then we saw the pattern. It was not madness, it was method. He leaned forward slightly, hoverchair humming low. Humans endure. They take pain and hold it inside, turn it into fuel. We strike to kill quick. You strike to last long. We die once in battle, you die every day in your minds, with every lost friend, every burned home, every empty chair at table, yet you wake, rise, fight again. One representative, a small mammalian with wide eyes, asked quiet question. What makes them different? Why do they not break? Zethkar turned his good eye toward the voice. Their world made them, he answered, a death world. Harsh gravity, wild storms, predators in every shadow, scarce resources, constant struggle. From the moment they crawled from mud, they fought to survive. Not for glory, but for tomorrow, for the next breath, for the children yet unborn. Every hardship forged them stronger. Every loss taught them to remember, to adapt, to never forget. We came with fleets, numbers, doctrine, perfection on paper. We thought numbers would crush them. Instead, numbers meant nothing when the enemy refuses to quit. We killed thousands, they sent millions. We burned worlds, they rebuilt overnight, factories that ran without sleep, mines that never closed, schools that trained soldiers from birth onward. He stopped for breath, chest rising slow. The terrifying truth is not their rage, though they have plenty, not their cunning, though they outthink us often, not their weapons, though they improve them fast. The truth is their endurance. Humans do not fight because they hate us. They fight because they can bear anything. Pain, loss, horror, shame, defeat, and still stand up next day, ready to begin again. We Krellith break when hope dies, when glory fades, when songs stop. We need meaning, quick victory, bright death. Humans need only the next step, the next fight, the next sunrise. They treat war like weather, something to outlast, something to weather until it passes. A feathered diplomat leaned forward, wings rustling. Did you ever see them give up even once? Zethkar shook his head slow. Never, he said. Not one, not once. I saw a Marine with guts hanging out, tie them back with his own belt, pick up a gun, keep shooting. I saw a pilot whose ship burned around her, eject into our formation, ram a cruiser, laughing as she died. I saw children on colony worlds, hand weapons to adults, say go fight, we will hide and wait. They did not cry, they planned. Silence fell heavy in the chamber. Even the recorder drone seemed to pause. Zethkar's voice dropped lower, almost whisper. We thought we brought annihilation. We thought we would end them. Instead we gave them another test, another trial, another day like any other. They call themselves Deathworlders. That name is wrong. They are endurance predators. Everything in their history shaped them to outlast, outsuffer, outremember. We die glorious once humans live through death 1,000 times and keep living. He looked straight at Captain Voss, who stood nearby, face calm. No triumph, no pity, only quiet understanding. Your mercy hurt us worse than your bombs, he said. You fed our wounded, healed our broken, sent them home with stories of kindness. We expected torture, revenge, hate. Instead we got compassion that shamed us more than defeat. Pride, our greatest strength, became our poison. The elder council member spoke again. Is there warning you would give to the galaxy from one who faced them in full war? Zethkar straightened as much as broken body allowed. Yes, he said. Do not wake them again, do not test their patience, do not push until they have no choice. If war comes to them, they will not stop at victory. They will continue until nothing threatens their tomorrow. Again, they do not seek conquest. They seek safety. Once safety is gone, they become something the stars have not seen before. A species that turns endless suffering into endless will. He paused, final time, looked around the chamber, one last sweep. Humans do not love war. They hate it more than any of us. Yet when war finds them, they meet it head-on, hold it close, endure it, long after others would flee. That is the terrifying truth. They are built to survive anything, including us. The chamber stayed silent, long moments. No one moved, no one spoke. The recorder drone glowed steady, capturing every word for archives that would last centuries. Zethkar leaned back in hoverchair, tired, spent, finished. Captain Voss stepped forward, placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. No words needed. The gesture said enough. She guided the chair away from platform, toward exit doors. Opened, quiet humans and Krellith side by side. No hate left, only shared weight of what happened. Outside in corridor, Voss stopped, looked down at him. You spoke truth, she said. The galaxy will hear it. Zethkar met her gaze one last time. "And what will they do with it?" he asked. Voss gave small smile. First real one he remembered seeing. "They will remember," she answered. "Remember and think twice before starting what they cannot finish." The Mercy waited outside, docked gentle against Spire. Humans loaded supplies, prepared to leave. Krellith survivors boarded other ships, bound for home worlds. Quiet journeys, no songs, no banners, just silence of lessons learned hard. Zethkar watched from viewport, as station grew small, stars bright again. He felt empty but clean. No pride, no anger, only clear sight of what humans truly were. Not monsters, not gods, just beings who refused to vanish, who carried tomorrow on shoulders, no matter the cost. Low hum, carrying survivors home. The war ended not with thunder, but with words spoken plain and true. The galaxy listened, and somewhere deep in quiet space, one fact settled forever. When humans go to war, the stars hold their breath, because the ones who endure outlast everything else.